Welcome back for more arms. It's time for the final character, Dr. Coil. Let's see where our alternate colors are. So there's silver. There's red. That looks pretty cool. And blue and yellow. Let's go red. That red looks really snazzy. Oh yeah, that's right. I wasn't sure if there was any dialogue for Dr. Coil fighting Dr. Coil. Apparently you can't. So I feel like it really should be climactic and I should play this on hard. I also just realized I forgot to read about her abilities and like recommended arms and stuff, so let me go do that real quick. Alright. I think I've got just about as much of the wiki page in my head as I can possibly hold on there. There's not a lot of space in there. I need to expand my memory. Computer joke. Live from the secret lab, the intrigue, the mystery, the sinister rush of the armed Grand Prix is upon us. And who else would be here to share this actual pet? What we're about to witness is the biggest, baddest brain in the ARMS labs has ever produced. Dr. Coil. ARMS is more than just a pet project for her. It's a full-on obsession, people. For years, Dr. Coil has gone to extreme lengths to develop the state-of-the-art ARMS weaponry. And in some cases, she's even experimented on herself in the name of technological advancement. If that doesn't win her Employee of the Month, nothing will. May the ARMS Grand Prix begin! Also, just a reminder, she is the head of ARMS Labs. In a sense, she is kind of a parallel to Max Brass. Let's observe. It's Dr. Coil versus the heiress, Ribbon Girl. Huh. The ducks clearly spent a lot of time studying Ribbon Girl's techniques. Just listen to her notes. Those aerial combat skills make for a dazzling display, but they're barely enough on their own. Her short-lived charge wears itself out faster than a pair of socks. Yikes, that's harsh. Guess we're about to see if all that analysis is worth the effort, folks. And it's funny, Ribbon Girl and Dr. Coil are also kind of parallels, because their movesets are a little similar. Well, not similar in ability, but similar in idea of avoiding attacks. So as we've seen with Dr. Coil being a boss character, ow, she can fly. She can constantly float. And arms that change when you're in the air don't change for her. Ever. Which is, I think, is a little... It's a little odd that they designed her that way, not having any way to change them, but alright. Maybe they'll make that different in ARMS 2. No, you don't. So yeah, her thing is the ability to float, and float around punches, and be generally really hard to hit. And she can get a second arm. Unfortunately random. I'm sure people would, you know, especially people in the competitive scene would really like that arm to be something you can reliably get on the same arm, but no, it's random whenever you get a full charge. And it's meant for pressure. Dr. Coil is generally considered the strongest character in the game. And for good reason. She is really hard to hit and has that pressure potential with that second arm. Frankly, it being random which arm you get with that extra arm, you know, random which shoulder it appears on, is really just for balance. Not just like, oh, well, it doesn't work right. I wish it would work. Like maybe if it was consistent, she would be too good. But again, tiers don't matter in this game. So just because someone's playing Dr. Coil doesn't mean you can't beat them. It's not an automatic win. Especially if they're not good as Dr. Coil. Like me! Double workshops for no reason. She can also turn invisible if she briefly blocks. And that will also trigger if she gets knocked down. The ARMS wiki recommends arms that allow her to exert pressure without sacrificing mobility. So, again, kind of like Ribbon Girl, where you don't want to sacrifice your mobility Yeah, I'm not really good at understanding how to use the floating to dodge. Because you may have noticed I tend to jump a lot trying to avoid attacks. And the floating really doesn't work like that. I mean, it can. It can make you go over attacks, that's the idea. But I just don't understand how to use the floating as an advantage rather than, oh, here comes a tri-bolt, I'll try to get over it by hovering. Like there's got to be more to it than I know how to deal with. There we go. Sorry, Ribbon Girl. Oh, I got a badge. Excuse me. I just finished lunch. Twintel. Another interesting parallel. Well, kind of. Match 2, present on your hypothesis. It's Dr. Coyle versus the Silver Screen Queen, Twintel. I'm not sure if the doc is a fan of Twintel's films, but she's definitely seen a lot of her fights. I would love the chance to experiment on her aura and its attack debilitating properties. Maybe I could even perfect its aura's major flaw. It has... wait, this fight isn't just an experiment, is it? Either way, these two draw a crowd. So Dr. Coyle is the oldest female fighter in the game. I believe the wiki said 48. Twintel being the second oldest at 26. Yep. Oh, I could get you. Apparently she thought she could get me too. So yeah, it seems like Dr. Coyle has a parallel to like everyone. Because she's the head of ARMS Labs, just like how Max Brass is the commissioner of ARMS League. She's oldest female fighter, similar to Twintel being second oldest. Her playstyle is a bit like Ribbon Girl's, and Rick of Men-at-Arms with, I guess not quite the same pool, because the wiki says Ribbon Girl also wants stuff with big hitboxes, not just pressure. There we go. There's using that third arm. Ah! Okay. It's fine. And Dr. Coyle also parallels Mechanica in like almost a Dark Mirror kind of way, where Mechanica is the youngest fighter in the game. Okay, well, not technically, because technically Springtron is 0 years old and Helix is 1. Oh. By the way, if you can, try not to get hit with elemental effects as Dr. Coyle. They're particularly debilitating for her. And Dr. Coyle and Mechanica are also both inventors, but Dr. Coyle uses advanced technology, whereas Mechanica uses scraps. And they're both fascinated with the ARMS ability, though Dr. Coyle is more like obsessed with it than anything. And technically speaking, they both gave themselves the ability to use the ARMS power. The ability to use ARMS ability. Just trying to avoid saying that. But Mechanica made a suit, whereas Dr. Coyle actually gave herself the ability. In fact, you can see with her arms, they are not quite like how any other fighter has their arms. There's a middle section to them that isn't a coil. It's almost like her arms didn't quite change like you would expect. Where instead of becoming coils, they kind of just became... They got the ability to stretch and then kind of also got a coil. Like, you can see what I mean. It's got a chewy nougat center, basically. Whoop. Ah, bad rush. Oh well. Nope, nope, no! Arm! My arm didn't come back fast enough. I'm trying to think of a Marvel comparison I can make, because I did say, like, Mechanica is basically like this game's Tony Stark. What would that make Dr. Coyle? I guess she'd be like, was it Warmonger? Or Ironmonger, something like that? The villain from the first Iron Man movie. Time to experiment. Let's switch it up and play some Skill Shot. Which also, speaking of the first Iron Man movie, I found out not too long ago that apparently Tom Morello, you know, guitarist for several bands, I think. One I mainly know him for is Rage Against the Machine. He was in there. He was in the first Iron Man movie. He's in the escape sequence, basically, like during the beginning. And they're like setting up the origins of the suit, and he's about to use the Mark I. This one, he plays a terrorist. Oh, the irony. Is it irony? I don't know. Oh man, I'm losing. Well, at least I'm fighting Kid Cobra here, and not on his home turf. Because I feel like Dr. Coyle would have a pretty hard time snakeboarding. I mean, she never touches the ground, so would she even touch her board? I think that's kind of a requirement for snakeboarding. Dang. It actually is, now that I think about it, a little bit unfortunate that we're getting Kid Cobra here, because there is apparently dialogue that implies that she's afraid of snakes. Oh, come on, that barely touched me. There we go, good enough. Are you sure you got that right, Doctor? I think you have it backwards. I think he's your worst nightmare. According to dialogue that we didn't get because of Skill Shot. Match 4, Gathering Data. It's Dr. Coyle versus the spirited fighter, Masango. Masango's unlike any other fighter. I bet the doc couldn't wait to research him. His ancient fighting style gives him the flexibility to alter his fighting style instantly. Of course, his little wispy sidekick can't protect him forever, can he? I'm starting to question whether or not the doc is a good person. What do you think? No. No, not at all. She's clearly kind of crazy. So here's finally a moment to talk about her arms, which I guess I could have done with Twin Tail, but I get sidetracked. So the Burchuck is this. It's like the Fun Chuck, but kind of the opposite, and instead of stun element, it's ice. And by it's the opposite, I mean instead of swirling like this when you're in the air, it swirls like this when you're on the ground, and swirls more vertically when you're in the air. Of course, I can't show that because I'm Dr. Coyle, and I can't activate in-air properties to arms. Which, in my opinion, that's definitely a drawback, because well, for one thing, it cuts down on the versatility of her arm's movesets. You know, she can't activate a second trait to any arm that has a second trait. And since I prefer using the Scorpio in the air, I can't do that with Dr. Coyle. I have to make do with its ground version whenever I play as her in Arms Test. Aha! Oh. I've got this. I've got this. I can do it. Just keep the pressure on. Okay, maybe back off a little bit. Get that third arm. And then pressure. Ah, the stone. Excuse me. This is why you don't record after lunch, but I just wanted to record more because there's like 2 episodes left. There's this, and then I want to show off all the other side modes, and then that's about it. So I figure let's get the recording wrapped up. All right, Lockjaw and Parabola. The Lockjaw is like a Megaton, except when you charge it, it fires a projectile before attempting to bite your opponent. I'm not sure exactly how the damage on it works. Like if the bite, how much bite the damage does, or if it's, when you charge it, it's more in the blast. And I think the blast is treated like a little explosion. I don't know. I tend to not use the Lockjaw a lot. And then you have the Parabola, which is, again, another arm that's like another arm, but opposite. So it's like the Parasol, but instead of wind, it's electric. And instead of opening up right away, it only opens up when it gets close. So it's more of a pressure tool than a defensive tool. Appropriately enough for Dr. Coil. Man, she looks real good in this red. Nice and shiny shoulders. All like round rubies. Come on. Yeah, if you could control what arm would get the extra arm when you full charge, I think the clear strategy would be to have a heavyweight arm on that arm and just keep charging the heavyweight for the defensive, for the heavyweight pressure. Ah, dang it. Oh, I should have rushed. Let's try to pressure him with parabolas. That's a title if I ever heard one. Although I was thinking of more just naming the episodes after the fighters. Since, that's kind of more what each episode is about. And it makes it easy for anyone who wants to just see their favorite fighter just do just their favorite fighter. But I'm also planning to put them in the thumbnails, so that should also make it clear who's going to be played that day, or that episode. I guess I'll see what I'm feeling when I actually go to make things. And it is, I find it weird to think that there was a time where I would record a few episodes at a time and then at least re-watch those episodes, if not completely edit them. No. It's like I don't do that anymore because it's... I guess I can't say inefficient, but it's just not for me. Because I take forever to edit anyway. There! And actually, right now I'm sitting on a lot of unedited stuff. Man, I throw him through his pillar, now he's gonna have to rebuild the pillar. Also, if you didn't notice, Dr. Coil's hair, when viewed from above, looks like a fist. I just appreciate how much fist imagery they were able to sneak in everywhere. It's Dr. Coil versus the Sucker Puncher, Lollipop. If this long-winded entry is any indication, the docs fully analyzed battle arenas too. It's an open secret that one of the cafes along Via Dolce's run by Arms Labs have ever participated in recipe development and taste testing trials for the products they sell. So, why aren't there more customers? It's not like Dr. Coil's no genius in the kitchen, but in her battle skills can't fail her today. Yeah, the wiki says that Dr. Coil has no sense of taste. I don't know if that's meant to be more literal, or they just mean, yeah, she's... Her taste testing skills are just bad. Well... I would think in a world with a more pleasant Dr. Coil, she would team up with Lollipop, have Lola help with the taste testing and figuring out, what kinds of things they should make. But instead, they're business rivals. And rivals in in the arena as well, I suppose. What? No, you don't. What? I was trying to grab back. Well, okay. Gotcha. Man, it feels like just a moment ago I rushed. She really does have high brush building ability. Hey, it's not over yet, Dr. Coyle. Don't gloat. You know, to stick with 2 lockjaws. It's been working. Now, I don't think the clapback can reflect the blast from lockjaws. We should definitely still be careful. Aw, oh, man, I knew where she was gonna land. I guess shooting her arms made her stay in the air a little bit longer than I expected. Yep, looks like that was just nullified. So it can't reflect. At least not the blast. It could still deflect the bite. Whoa. You know, I forget how exactly Dr. Coyle's reveals went. I know we saw the lockjaw before it had an official name. I guess the safest thing to assume that happened was we saw them in her trailer, and they didn't say the name until later. I remember my brother theorized that. I think it was my brother who said that they could be called knuckleheads because they're like headlock but on hand. I thought that was pretty good, but lockjaw works too, I guess. Okay, nope, stop being so defensive. No. Wait, well, okay, she was being less defensive there. I guess I got what I wanted. It makes it sound like her business on the street has some kind of secret shortcut to Arms Labs. Match 6, good results. Let's change it up and play some b-ball. Guess I'll go with Burchuk because they're fast and have a decently large hitbox at all times. Yeah, I wonder if Arms Lab's shadiness is entirely because of Dr. Coyle. I wanna assume that's supposed to be the case. But you never know. She could just be one villain of many. Who knows if Dr. Coyle has any underlings? Maybe they could be the villains of the next game. Whoa! Darn. Oh, there's another parallel that I forgot to point out before. Is that she is kind of like Ninjara in her ability to temporarily vanish, to confuse. So it does kind of feel like she's got a little bit of everyone in her abilities and design. Yeah, get over there. That could have been a tie. And then I would have lost. Puny? She's not that small. I suppose Mechanica is probably the smallest character if you count her out of her suit. Alright, good. I was hoping we'd get Master Mummy. We're at 7. Analyze this. It's Dr. Coyle versus the Grim Creeper, Master Mummy. Oh my, this analysis is more juicy than it is informative. The reanimation attempt went beautifully, the subject's total memory loss notwithstanding. As long as his arms abilities continue to develop, I'd call this procedure a success. Could that mean? Never mind. We got a fight to watch. Yes, it does mean that, Biff. No, not that we have a fight to watch. That Dr. Coyle is responsible for Master Mummy being revived. And possibly Master Mummy's family as well also. That part's unclear. But yeah, she's the reason Master Mummy is reanimated and has the arms ability and win. It does seem like pretty much anything bad in this game is like probably because of Dr. Coyle. Although I know I say that, and then later I'm gonna think of like, wait a minute, well, like no, she's only responsible for like 3 things, and then the rest is like just misfortune. No, 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 no birds, no birds. Gonna crush you. Huh? Oh. Okay. Cool. Sure. Nope, almost. Wait, no. Stay still. Stay. Gotcha. Interesting how that did 45 damage. I thought it always reduced to 50. Okay, I'll stick with a bird chuck there, and I'll go, I guess, a parabola here. I do think it's interesting when a character's quote-unquote default glove, like their main glove, is a heavyweight one. Excuse me. Like how Master Mummy's is the Megaton, and Coil's is the Lockjaw. You know, I don't remember what Mechanica's is. I guess it's the revolver, because that's what she's normally portrayed with. But that's weird to think. Because I'm just thinking back to like pieces of art where they have them all like having this one arm out, like the title screen pose, basically. One arm extended, one fist in the air. Like, I find it hard to imagine Mechanica doing that with a revolver, but none of her other default arms make sense either. So, I guess it has to be the revolver. That is definitely one of those sentences that would be one of those trains of thought that's like completely redundant by me just looking it up later when I'm done. And then I stick in a little text blurb in editing. It's like, yep, it's this. I can shut up. There we go. But I guess it's better I keep rambling than I stay quiet, because at least if I'm talking, that's words, and it's more unique to me. Sure. Let's pretend that we didn't have Bite and Bark and Masongo and Min Min beat you on level 7. Match 8, prove yourself. It's Dr. Coyle versus the Bouncer, Springman. Ooh-wee, the Doctor's got quite a few thoughts on her bouncy rival. Listen to this. Once upon a time, this fighter was considered exemplary, if not the best in the league. But my creation, Springtron, has outclassed him in every category. Springman is nothing now. Wow. That's pretty cut and dry, people. Springman gonna prove her wrong? Oh, I hope not. I would like to not get stuck on Springman for 20 minutes. I'm gonna go a little bit defensive here with the double bird chucks, because it's not the best at knocking down the boomerang, but it could help, because it is fairly wide. Yeah, I would wonder, well, because I do wonder if, whoa, competitive play with Coyle recommends wearing one of, going pairs, like I'm doing right now with the bird chucks. Just for the sake of consistently having the arm you want pressuring your opponent twice. Or basically pressuring them twice as hard. More like 1.5 times as hard. Remember, I can float. I really have not been remembering that I can float. Have another rush. I'm just trying to look at my rush meter, see how quickly she builds a rush, because, like, dang, 2 rushes in 1 round is, like, a lot. It's more 210, so it's a lot. Whoa, 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 no, no, no. There we go. Well, not to jinx myself, but yeah, the double bird chucks on Springman seemed like it was pretty effective. And, of course, remember, AI Springman, not literally any Springman. I'm sure if this were a human player, he would catch on to my flight pattern here. Let's quickly start predicting me and, you know, start tearing into me. But this is the AI, and the AI is supposed to be predictable. I mean, really, that's all they can be. These computers can't do anything that you don't tell them to do. So this Springman is operating basically entirely off of ifs. You know, if I do this, then do this. You know, basically, like, if I rush, then they block. That's the only condition I can say for sure it actually has, but yeah, that train of thought. Yeah, I never did actually show that off. If an opponent is in the air, you can pretty easily hit them with a grab and deal 20 points of damage. I tend to not do that because it's like, it's just 20 damage. It's not a whole lot. There was a point where it seemed like that was going to be the meta of fighting in arms. It's just, oh, just use wind and knock them up into the air, and then on their way down, try to hit them with a grab. But thankfully, that does not seem to have become anyone's main strategy, because the game is really about adapting. Okay, I gotta get your health down so I can win. Okay, is that enough? It was enough. Good. Not stuck on Springman for 20 minutes. I like that. Oh, we're back to Buster Beach. Match 9, knowledge is power. It's Dr. Coyle versus the Clockwork Cops. Bite and bark. Here we have some notes Dr. Coyle took after watching this pair in a fight. These two may seem formidable, but even they will meet their inevitable end, rust. Could I build them rust-proof bodies? Sure. Will I? Unlikely. Well, maybe if this fight goes well, this duel can change her mind. Here's hoping. Shake him, and she's not. That's really mean! Bite and Bark deserve rust-proof bodies. And Bite deserves to have some abilities that aren't entirely relying on Bark. Yeah, I said it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Like, I said this while playing as Bite, I think. Or maybe it was like whoever came after, but I really feel Bite should have some abilities that don't rely on Bark, because Bark is entirely out of your control. I mean, well, not entirely, but he's hard to control. He's mostly AI-driven, and the AI does things based on what you do. So you don't really have powers as Bark, or as Bite. I think he should have at least super armor. But I'm sure there are people who maybe better understand the balance of this game. Haha! I knocked your missile down and got you with it! People who better understand the balance of this game, who could say for sure, no, Bite would be overpowered if he had traits that he could use without Bark. But again, looking at the... again, tiers don't matter. You know, they count that counter up, ding. But, you know, considering he is low tier, it's more a tell of how easy it is to utilize his abilities and how effective they are when you utilize those abilities than it is about his overall viability. Gotcha. So I think Bite certainly could stand to have some abilities that don't rely on Bark. Even if it's something mostly passive like super armor. But that's just another thing that makes me really excited for a potential sequel. It's just, I want to see how they rebalance the fighters. I wonder who would get stronger and who might potentially get weaker. But I want to assume that they would do the Soul Calibur approach and have no one get weaker, just make everyone stronger. Which I like that. I like that design philosophy, that balance philosophy. Well, her arms look weird when she's going for a grab. Let me watch that again in the replay. That was weird. Okay, wait, here it comes. Nope, not quite. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Yeah, like, you can see they start to turn sharply, like right around here. Ugh. I mean, it's not that off-putting, it's just a little weird. It's probably a quirk of how it's animated. But yeah, I like the idea of just making weak fighters stronger rather than making strong fighters weaker. Look at that crowd, the fans are fired up. It's Dr. Coyle versus the Commission Max Brass. Well. It turns out our genius doctor had plenty to write about Max Brass. The things he said to me, I can never forgive. His day of reckoning will come. Oh, it will come. No love lost there. Is it just me, or is reading the Doc's private journal starting to feel weird? Just me then. Okay. Here we go. Zon's Grand Prix finale. Oh, it's just starting to feel weird? Oh, okay. I'll go double for Rabela to try to pressure him around his kablamers there. Yeah, I'm definitely curious why there's no such thing as a Dr. Coyle impersonator when there is one for Max Brass. I wonder if they really did just want it to be you always fought Max Brass, or if maybe there's subtle implications that whoever that doppelganger Max Brass was, whichever one may have been the doppelganger, was probably created by Arms Labs, and Dr. Coyle would not let them make one of herself. But I do find it a little hard to believe because their attempts at... Oh, you're going to go double kablammer again? Okay. That their attempts to make a living fighter turned out Helix, and anything robotic is spring-drawn. So I would think if there were a Max Brass doppelganger made by Arms Labs, it would look either like spring-drawn or like Helix, you know? Like, it doesn't follow the themes of other things that we know for sure are made by Arms Labs. You know, I don't remember if there's special dialogue for Headlock showing up. Because it doesn't seem right to have this end with Headlock showing up when Dr. Coyle's here and trying to win. Why would her own creation show up to make her lose? If anything, this should make this turn into Headlock Scramble, which you're certainly going to see what that's like tomorrow. I was going to say tomorrow. For you, I suppose it'll be tomorrow, unless you're watching this in the playlist. But for me, it'll be whenever I'm done. This... No! No, get out of the circle! Okay, you're going 2 fists. I'll go 2 fists too! Except I lied. I have 3! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did she say lock and load? Did she make a pun? I didn't realize she had a sense of humor. You know, for all the maniacal laughing she does. Oh man, he got me with the shockwave. I suppose an important piece of strategy to know with Dr. Coil is that bit about how, I'm pretty sure I brought this up before, that you regain your full mobility when your arm is retracting, not when it's fully back. So if you keep that in mind, I'm sure that's probably one of the keys to staying mobile as Coil. Okay, yeah, I deserved it. No, I can't win this. I can't possibly deal enough damage to him in 14 seconds. I mean, as far as we can tell, this is how it should end. But we're not stopping there. Oh, I won a badge. Can it be? Has someone finally taken down the Max Brass? Ladies and gents, nowhere today. What? Up in the sky. What is that thing? Well, it's definitely not Superman. Nikolon on the Max's head! Kamish! Somebody help him! Uh-oh. I think this guy's looking for a fight. Who's gonna take care of this creep? Okay, it wasn't different. But, you know, there we go. Showing that dialogue for one last time. What a turn of events! Victor was all but assured, but now there's a party crasher to deal with. Is this payback for something the commish did? Pray you pass behind you, Dr. Coyle, please! Max Brass needs your help! Maybe this is revenge for something Dr. Coyle did. And they're having her own invention turn against her. Because, like, dramatic irony or something. I only have half as many arms as you do. But I'm twice as mobile, probably, maybe more than that. Uh-oh. Well, I guess I am a sixth stupider, so... Ah. Okay, fine, a third stupider. I gotta remember, there's no timer. So as long as I can survive, it doesn't matter if I'm losing. There. That was a pretty good one. Well, got him with the tiny. No! Man, I just noticed that her boots are like heels, like stiletto heels, but with cleats, with like cleat spike. Like she's basically walking on like several stiletto spikes, and that sounds really, really hard to do. No wonder she doesn't walk on the ground. It's like with those boots, no way, no way it's possible. God dang it! No, get out of the circle! No! Ow. Come on. Ah, dang it! Totally whiffed that rush. Well, at least his wasn't much better. Dang. You know, I just realized that this is the only way left in the game that you can fight level 7 Max Brass headlock, since they replaced everyone else's level 7 headlocks with Dr. Coil. So this is kind of why I wasn't sure about going on 7. Because just because it was harder doesn't mean it was going to end up being more climactic. Because it could just end up being me losing over and over again. And that's not exactly exciting. Okay, there's one round. Ha! Got him with his classic weakness of jumping! Yes! The creep is down for the count. Hold on, I've just received some intel. Time to routine labs. What? That light is everywhere. Is he gonna be okay? Huh? Whoa! It's gone. What was that thing? Where'd it come from? Will it be back? Cotton Eye Joe? I wonder. Think I looking at a mask? Regularly stylized. But never mind that. How's Max doing? Why was I worried? Look at that brass. Nothing like it. He's flexing like nothing happened. Anyway, now that that's over, let's get back to programming. I comment about him wondering if he looks good in a mask. I think that kind of... I'm not sure if that disproves anything about any theories about Biff. Because I forget if there even are theories about him possibly having the arms ability based on it looking like he's wearing a mask, because apparently that's his face. Get ready to go crazy! Whatever the arms Grand Prix, and your new Grand Champion! The rad scientist, Dr. Coyle. This win certainly proves her theories were correct. Congratulations. Another arm Grand Prix, come out as home! See you next time, folks. Excuse me. Oh, wait, shoot, that was... I'm supposed to let the credits roll that time. Man, do I gotta play through again? Does it get the credits to roll? But yeah, there we go. There's Dr. Coyle's photo of them, her and Max Brass, presumably much younger. Max Brass still decidedly Max Brass, not Springman. And Dr. Coyle without the arms ability. Presumably, because she is wearing sleeves. It is possible for people with the arms ability to wear sleeves. And she's got some guitars in the background. No wonder they call her the rad scientist. Right, look, there's what appears to be Biff, but with a mustache. And possibly glasses. Now, why would he be wearing a disguise if that were actually Biff? Again, another thing that's like, I think that kind of disproves some theories. There's also some DNA in a jar. There's some Biff cookies. Again, it's probably not actually Biff. It's just a little subspecies of thing. Maybe Arms Lab's just biologically engineered a mascot. And of course, as you can see, the photo's torn. So the relationship, whatever relationship they had, is over. Shoot. I gotta go through again! Okay, I'll be back. Alright, there we go. So yeah, that's not everything ARMS has to offer. There's more than just a Grand Prix, which we're gonna see in the next video. But for now, that's every fighter, and all of what their Grand Prix look like, which are identical. If I haven't already said, this is my favorite fighting game. Yes, including Smash Bros. And, you know, not to get on another Smash Bros. Rant, but it's like, I don't really see how people can look at this game and go, oh man, there's nothing to do with this game, there's no content. And then they look at Smash Ultimate, which probably, I think, has maybe the same amount of modes. And they're like, oh man, best Smash Bros. Ever. It's like, is it purely based on the length of World of Light that people say that on? I don't know. 'Cause if you ask me, World of Light is not really content. It's not quality content, because it's like, oh, here's a fighter you can already fight against, but now the floor's on fire. Whoa! It's just like you're fighting that fighter that their spirit is. Whoa! No, I don't get it. But you know, I understand that people don't click with this game either, and you know, if you already bought the game and you still have it, I definitely recommend trying to stick with it, because it does take some time to get used to before it really starts to feel right. But of course, if you just know that it's just not your kind of game, that's fine too. You know, not everyone has to like everything. You know, I'm not obligated to like Smash Bros. Ultimate, so I don't. I burnt out with 4. I'll stick with 4. It's fine with me. I don't think anyone's gonna actually be mad at me for that. Hopefully. And I really would like an ARMS sequel, because it's just, I really love playing this game. You know, I've got however many hours, hundreds of hours that I showed earlier, or at the start, you know, whatever episode that was. I got a lot of hours clocked in this game, and I can't say that for really any other fighting game besides Smash Bros. But again, I burnt out on that. I have not burnt out on this. I still play this well, not quite regularly, but you know, every now and then it's like, I feel like playing ARMS, and I put ARMS in and I play it, and I'm usually still playing it for like a week or two. See, that's the pose I was talking about, where they all got their fists out. Except the DLC fighters aren't included in that, because that was, I assume, a pre-rendered cutscene from before they were at it. So yeah, whatever. Also, coincidentally, I'm recording this on the 5-year anniversary of Dr. Coyle's release, December 22nd. Oh, and yeah, I just played as Master Mummy because I figured that was the fastest way to get through the Grand Prix. It was just megawatt, or get them confused again. Megaton punching through everyone, steamrolling them. But yeah, there's some extra stuff to show off. That was the wrong button. That was B, not A. There's a few modes in here that I can show off next time. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you then if you decide to click that video and you decide that you haven't had enough of ARMS yet. Bye.